lead actually met steel. But you know, it seems like kind of an abusive relationship, you know, where all her friends say he's not worth anything, you should leave him, blah, blah, blah. But she just keeps going back for more because, whew, have you ever heard a noise that makes you feel a certain kind of way? A noise that you just can't get anywhere else? Yeah, me neither. It's a vicious cycle, but range therapy has me growing and shit, so yeah, I wake up every morning, I PowerPoint to that ogre looking sumbitch in the mirror and tell him I'm pretty, I'm proud, and I am worthy of being the title of the greatest Z-list gun tuber this side of the Mississippi. Gentlemen, sit up straight and buckle up, because we're about to go Judge Judy on this shit. Listen, Cody Curry here, and this is 110 SAS Actual. Now, before we get any further, do old dad a favor here and tell me, what is the most overrated gun in the community right now? Just grossly overrated. Let me know in the comments. The people need to know for science. And number 2, guys, I'm 100% self-funded here. There's nobody writing me checks saying, hey, give us a good review on this thing and we'll get you, whatever X amount of dollars. I'm not doing that. What I am going to do is I'm going to get weapons. I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to shoot the piss out of them. I'm going to tell you guys what I honestly think about them. I'm not going to say, hey, this gun is so great, awesome, you should get it. You are missing out by not consuming. No. That's not going to come from me. What's going to come from me is I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to shoot it, like I said, shoot the piss out of it, and I'm going to give you a fair and honest assessment of the weapon. Now, for the third thing, while you're at it, drop a like and hit that subscribe button, because guess what? You better hurry. Winter is coming. So there's a new kid on the block, Lead and Steel, founded like, 6 business minutes ago in dog years. This company, it came out pretty damn strong. It really hit the ground running. They didn't just drop some mounts or release a few grips, make some like exclusive hype patches and hype gear. No, they came out stronger than that California exotic Reginald that sends you into the shadow realm. They dropped optics, they dropped the builder kits. They said, hey, here's complete carbines. It's 13.9, 14.5, and 16 inches. And while you're at it, rightfully so, has gathered quite a bit of hype. And thankfully for you, I have an affinity for shiny new things. So you're welcome for my service. So what we have here is the all-rounder carbine, the ARC. I suppose it's kind of a fitting name because, it comes in pretty much the best general purpose lengths, 13.9 inch, 14.5 inch, and 16 inches of freedom seed dispersion. Personally, I'm kind of like a 14.5 inch guy. You can pin and weld most muzzle devices on there so you have a legal length carbine while also having a gas system that was designed from the ground up to optimize the 5.56 in a length that wasn't, a musket, but also allowing for the most complete powder burn and performance possible out of, a carbine sized package. But what's life if you don't go out and try new things, right? So I went with a 13.9 on this to see exactly what it's all about. I have heard a 1/2 inch can make like all the difference in the world, So let's do a quick overview of the Lead and Steel ARC. Now, this rifle comes in right under $1,600. In my opinion, that's a very solid price point and a very competitive price point. There's a lot of big names that come to mind when you think of that range, that, $1,500 price range plus or minus. BCM, Sons of Liberty Gunworks, FN, Colt, LWRC, Psionics, and so many more. All of these companies make a really solid gat. So it's pretty competitive little sweet spot. No, you're not getting, a $3,500 kind of blaster, but you're definitely not getting those $399 Widowmakers either. Now in this range, you expect a reliable, fairly accurate, and in-spec carbine. And if you're picking something up in this range, you can almost guarantee you're going to get just that. So in a time where there's honestly never been more quality options for you to choose from, you have to ask yourself, what does Lead and Steel do differently to make this a step ahead of the competition? What am I getting extra out of my hard-earned dollars? Well, let's talk about it and how it comes out of the box. So you're getting a 7075 T6 forged aluminum receiver set, a chrome-lined match-grade monoblock barrel with a 1-to-8 twist, an ambi gas-busting charging handle, an individually gauged and proofed fired weapon, a non-garbage milspec trigger, a wedge-lock free-float rail, an ambi safety, a dead air 3-prong mount, and weighs in at a petite 6.5 pounds. Sounds pretty rad, right? Well, let's talk about each feature and how it performs. First, you have a forged receiver set that's made of a quality material. While they're not doing necessarily anything revolutionary here, it is important to know that you have a gun that's not made of recycled tin can pot metal. It's quality and it's going to hold up. Now the barrel, it's super interesting. We have a chrome-lined monoblock pipe. What's a monoblock? Well, I'm glad you asked. Essentially, the barrel and gas block come from the same hunk of steel. It's actually one complete whole part. The gas block is married to the barrel, while a traditional gas block is either, held by set screws, pinned, or something of that nature. This is going to be all one system instead of two separate parts working together. Now this comes with some pros, and it comes with some cons. Pros being, unless, this thing cracks or it blows out from, mag dumps into the finest heaps of trash, it's not going to leak and poop all over your support hand. However, if it does go bad, you're getting a new barrel and you're getting a new gas block. There's no way around that. Now, the odds of that happening with, normal shooting and hell, even 110 SAS style shooting, you're gonna be just fine. It's likely not going to be an issue ever, but it is something to think about. Nothing that should be a deal breaker, but it's just my opinion. It's something to consider. Now they claim it's a match grade barrel. While it's definitely not an AK, oh, I finally hit the target this time kind of accuracy, it's definitely not gonna be breaking any world records either. But what I can say with absolute confidence is that as long as you do your part, you won't be disappointed. I was able to get a solid and consistent .89 MOA 10 shot groups with 77 grain Black Hills ammo. The 1:8 twist rate didn't have any issue stabilizing those heavier pills either. In my opinion, the gold standard of accuracy from like an AR15 is sub MOA, right at that 1 MOA or below. If you can consistently shoot 1 MOA and you can call wind, you're gonna bang full-size Iron Maiden IPSCs at 600 yards pretty much all day. And to be honest, out of a 5.56 carbine-sized pipe, well, you can't ask it to do a ton more than that, especially at that price point. Is it capable of going further than that? Sure. I've shot with dudes that are hitting 1,000-yard IPSCs with 14.5s. Pretty impressive. Way better shooters than I am. So, as far as the barrel and accuracy goes, I'm really pleased. Well done, Lead Seal. Now the rail is a nice slim profile M-lock secured by a wedge lock system. It's also a free float. Now free float is definitely nothing new, and it's pretty much the industry standard for, all the guns, even the ones that cost like half this guy. But it's good to know. Now the profile of this rail, it's really nice. There's nothing worse than like grabbing a gat and you can barely get like a solid grip foundation on because it feels like, you're wielding like the tree trunk of like a 100-year-old oak tree. The rails, they just feel solid on these things and it's machined very well. Now it's nothing revolutionary, but it's solid. And it also has a steel QD sling mount machined right into it, so there's no need to spend any extra money just to get a sling on it. They did that for you right from the factory. Now, the bolt carrier group. It's pretty solid. Now, each bolt carrier group is inspected, engaged, fitment, and lockup. It's very solid on this thing. There's definitely some attention to detail on it. Now, you have your choice of either a DLC finish or this gold finish here. Now, I'm not a huge fan of carriers that aren't either black or chrome, so it's a minor gripe and a personal preference from me, but at least you have a choice moving forward. You can get the DLC finish, which is going to be very durable, or the gold finish here, which is actually a little bit of an upcharge. The carrier, it's staked correctly and it's just machined well. It's going to hold up. Now, one of my favorite little personal touches Lead and Steel does is drop an ambidextrous gas-defeating charging handle in this thing. Now, what I like in particular about this charging handle, it's very minimalist profile. I'm not entirely sure where, the grossly oversized claw-like latches trend started. I don't know, maybe by companies that make carbines that jam a lot or something and made it easier for the operator to manipulate those malfunctions. I don't know, but either way, I'm glad they didn't go this route with this gun here. It's personally one of the very few charging handles I'd actually consider, getting as a standalone part. Typically, if the gun has a decent charging handle in it, I'm not gonna change it. I'm just not that guy. But something like this, I kind of like it. Now, I typically just don't buy guns that malfunction a lot. And if they do, I'm not using it until I have it running completely reliable. So I'm not needing these, ridiculous oversized latches and stuff. They just end up getting caught on shit anyways, ripping all my kit off my plate carrier, stuff like that, The Lead and Steel is a nice and slim profile. And it's not so big, that again, I'm getting caught on everything I'm walking past, getting caught on my kit. Now, it's also a gas-defeating charging handle, meaning there's a small spot milled out of the handle on the right side that directs any of the excess gases away from your face. Now, while I feel gas-defeating charging handles aren't out here exactly making, terribly overgassed carbines pleasant to shoot, they do help just a little bit to keep your eyes from crying. It's not game-changing, but it is nice. One of the coolest things about this carbine is from the factory, It's ready to roll right out of the box. Well, Sass, bro, every carbine is ready to go out of the box. Well, this one is like uber duper ready then, because you are getting their Promethean LP-1 red dot sight included with the rifle. Okay, that's kind of rad because, that isn't exactly a mainstream trim. I guess mostly because, AR15 brands, don't have their own branded optics. I don't know, but it's kind of a sweet package. Now, as far as the actual LP-1 goes, I have 2 of these things now, and I plan on doing an in-depth review on this guy here soon, but without giving too many spoilers away, it's held up, it's held 0, and it's overall a really solid optic. Another solid touch is they have their own branded trigger. It's at approximately like a 3.5 pound single stage trigger pull. Now, you guys know me. I'm a little bit of a trigger snob. Actually, I'm a terrible trigger snob. It's the part that I'm most critical of. And there's absolutely nothing better than that sweet and delicious candy cane-like snap that's like, oh so predictable. I want to know exactly when this thing is going bang. What I do not want is, oh yeah, here we go boys, it's about to happen, and you give it that little bit of extra nudge there, and all it does is just move past another little bit of grit in that break. Bro, talk about a honeypot. Now, the lead and steel, it's not a god-awful trigger. It's very serviceable, but I've just had a lot better. It's a solid trigger, there's no doubt about it, and it's a ton better than the 90 million pound milspec triggers that a lot of guns in this price range come with. But it was the first thing to go for me. So we know what this thing is all about now, but what's my overall take on this? So here's the thing, guys, in a time where the mid-tier rifle market is rather saturated with extremely solid options that are going to be reliable and going to serve you well, trying to break into that market is going to be a tough feat. I know for a fact I'd be scared to dip my toes in it if it were my money on the line. So, here's my take with this guy. There are so many choices in this price range. No doubt, buying something in that is going to give you a solid performing gun, but so many in this price range aren't really doing anything different to set themselves apart from the competition. Now here's the thing, the lead and steel comes with a very nice ambi charging handle. I really like it. Now while most offerings in this price range are gonna give you like a standard milspec handle, it's nice to have not only a gas defeating, but also an ambi handle. You're also getting a hand-tested and hand-gauged weapon. Not just like, a batch test, luck of the draw kind of thing. Each rifle that leaves the doors there is shot and gauged. Well, that's really, nothing new, but in this price range, it's kind of something new. And it's an awesome feat. The odds of you getting a lemon from this company are going to be drastically reduced. When it's stated up front that, this thing has been tested, we know it's in spec, you're good to go. Now you're getting a decent trigger out of the box that isn't a garbage milspec bang switch. Sweet, that's awesome. Oh, you're getting a nice serviceable optic? Okay, rad. The lead and steel just does a few things more than, some of its competitors do, and that's just great. It's nice to see a carbine in this price range that is doing something extra without looking ridiculous and doing just the little things that might make your carbine a little bit better. But how does it shoot? Well, it shoots exactly what you think an in-spec, well-machined, properly ported AR-15 would shoot. It's smooth. It's not giving your eyeballs hell, even with the higher back pressure NT4 can. And it's fairly accurate. When you buy a weapon in this price range, you expect reliability. You expect it to be in spec and reasonably accurate. The lead and steel ARC does all of that, and in fact, well, it kind of excels at that. If you are in the market for a mid-tier weapon, I'd seriously consider it, because I haven't been disappointed in mine at all. So gentlemen, that's a wrap on the lead and steel ARC-15. Now, guys, I appreciate the views and I appreciate you guys subscribing and just, supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me, and it just makes me happy that you guys are enjoying the content. Now, if you guys need anything, you know where to find me. Send me a DM, we'll talk, and we'll see what we can do for you. Until next time, see you guys.